Strap into your seats because I'm coming in for my largest ever cash game buy-in, $30,000 on the biggest live stream in poker, Hustler Casino Live. We're battling against an all-star cast of crushers, content creators, and degenerates ready to get all of their chips in the middle.
Now what does Kenji do? He jams. Wolfgang plays in some pretty big games daily, but probably still a pretty big spot for him.
I'm 0 for 4 at the Hustler for negative $50,000, and I've lost some brutal pots here in the past. So today, it's all about redemption. I'm battling to reclaim what's mine, finish on top, and finally book a win. We're playing $25.50 with a $50 big blind ante, and Mike X opens up the hijack to $300. I decide to call out of the big blind with 8-9 of clubs, and the flop comes Queen 9-6 with 2 diamonds. The action goes check check, bringing in the 4 of hearts on the turn. I check it over to Mike once again, and then make a very important decision which bang sticker I want to put on my chest. Mike X takes the lead here now and bets out for $400, and of course I have to put in the call with my pair of 9s. The river now comes the Queen of Hearts pairing the top card, and I think my pair of 9s will be good here a large portion of the time, and I want to get value versus an ace high or a pocket 7s, pocket 5s type of hand, so I bet 20% the size of the pot for $300. After not much thought, Mike X does something that kind of surprises me, and it looks like my $300 bet induces him to raise it north to $1,500. I think about it for a little while and then ultimately toss in the additional $1,200. I think this is going to be a bluff a large portion of the time, like Miss Diamonds or maybe an ace high that's trying to get me off of a one pair type of hand. After I put in the call, he turns over pocket 3s, so exactly what I thought, and $4,400 is our reward for finding the call there on the river. In this next hand, Mariano opens the low jack to $300 over a $100 straddle. I put in the call with pocket deuces, and that brings in Addy, Mike X, and Kristen Foxen from the straddle. If you don't know who Kristen Foxen is, she's an absolute crusher on the felt with almost $10 million in total live earnings. More than that though, she's the 22nd highest ranked player on the Global Poker Index ranking, and this is her first ever appearance on Hustler Casino Live. She puts in the additional $200 from the straddle, and we're off 5 ways to the flop in a $1,600 pot, which comes jack, 9, deuce, bang, we flop bottom set. Mariano bets out into the field for $600, and of course I put in the call. There's not too many draws available like a flush draw, but of course there is Queen 10 and 10-8, so I wouldn't blame anybody here for coming in for a raise with 3 other players in the hand. But after I just call, we're going heads up to the turn, which comes the 4 of diamonds. Mariano now slows down and checks it over to me, and I have to go for value. I decide to bet out for $2,300, a rather large bet, but I think Mariano is someone who's capable of calling me down light. But after 3 minutes in the tank, Mariano flicks in the call with 6-7 of hearts.
He makes the call. Oh my God. Wolfgang makes all the money with quads.
Unfortunately, you guys can see that he just has ace-10 offsuit, so he has to muck his cards, but nice that we are taking down this $5,100 pot and building some momentum. In this next hand, Dylan and Mariano put out the $100 and $200 straddles, and I decide to limp from the low jack with Queen 9 offsuit. Dylan completes, Mariano checks, and we're off to a flop 3 ways, which comes ace-ace-10 rainbow. The action checks around, bringing in the jack of diamonds on the turn. I now have an open-ended straight draw, and the action checks to me for a second time. I don't want to get blown off my draw here, so I decide to check behind once again, and now we have some showdown value when the 9 of hearts peels off on the river. Once again, nobody wants to put money in the middle. They all check it over to me, and I think I can go for some value here versus a king high, queen high type of hand, or maybe a pocket pair like 7s or 6s that just doesn't believe me. So I toss in $600, and Mariano looks me up light with the best hand that doesn't have a pair.
Gets the call from Mariano with king high. Nice value bet.
We're gonna take down a $2,000 pot, and I really like the initiative here by myself for going for a little bit of thin value on this river and getting paid. Even though I've won a few small pots already tonight, I'm still stuck $27.50 on the session. I'm battling back and forth, but not really getting anywhere, and I need to do more and play some bigger pots if I want to win big today. We are giving away an insane amount this summer, and it's happening at this website. First, you're gonna want to get one of these. There's 1 1,000 of them up for grabs on the site every day for the next 6 weeks. If you come to Vegas and win one of these big summer tournaments, you're gonna get this fat bonus check. This is real. That is the real amount. But if you can't make it to Vegas, no worries. You can play for free in this tourney online July 13th for that amount. The only catch, you must make a free account to be in it. So if you like big numbers with lots of zeros in your pocket, then come on down and sign up using code Wolfgang to take advantage of my special offer. If you do this, you'll get this. And if you do this, you'll get this. As long as you don't live in Michigan, Idaho, Montana, or Washington, you're eligible to play. I'll see you guys on the virtual felt. Well, the poker gods heard our prayer and come through for us in a massive way when we pick up the bullets from the big blind. Kristen Foxen raises it up to $200 from the hijack, and Redfish puts in the call. Redfish has 2 yellow buttons in front of him, which means if he wins one more hand in a row, everyone has to pay him $1,000. What does that mean? His range is going to be super wide, and I have to attack it. Mariano puts in the call for $200 as well, and the action's on me in the big blind. I want to size up large here, especially because Redfish is going to continue with pretty much any 2 cards, and I come in for a massive 3-bet to $1,550. Sure enough, Redfish defends with King 5 of clubs from the cutoff, and we're heads up in a 3.5k pot off to a flop, which comes Queen 8-7 rainbow. I decide to go for a bet here, and I copy and paste my 1,000 and Cinco de Mayo here
1,000 and Cinco de Mayo
with pocket aces, and Redfish comes along with King 5 of clubs. The turn, now comes the deuce of diamonds, and with pocket aces here and against Redfish's pretty wide range, I want to go large. There's $6,600 in the middle, and I decide that the right amount to do is $7,700. Yeah, you heard me right. I overbet the turn. The logic is if he has a queen, of course he's putting the money in. If he has a hand like Jack 10 of clubs, 9-10 of diamonds, the money is going in, and I want to charge the maximum. But at the end of the day, he doesn't pick up any equity on the turn with King 5 of clubs. He respects money just a little bit and folds his cards, which means we are taking down a $6,600 pot with the best hand in poker. But then we battle with Redfish right away when I open up pocket nueves from the cutoff to $300. Kenji calls out of the small blind. Redfish now 3-bets us to $2,000, and the action's back over to me. I'm in the tank, and before I show you guys what I did, I want to remind you that if you like the shirt I'm wearing, good for poker, it's on my website, shopwolfgang.com. It's in a bunch of colors and varieties. I was never folding though. I postured for a few seconds before putting in the call, and Kenji comes along as well. So just like that, we're playing a $6,000 pot, and the flop comes Jack, Jack 3 rainbow. Kenji checks. Redfish now continues to the tune of $2,600, and the action's on me. Redfish could easily have King Queen high, Ace Queen, Ace King, Ace 10. He could even have a hand like pocket 7s or 6s going for value. So of course I have to put in the call, and sure enough, we lose Kenji off heads up to the turn. The turn now comes a 6 of clubs, and will Redfish slow down? There's $11,300 in the middle, and he grabs some chips. My heart is beating super fast at this moment because I have a made hand, but also it's just a bluff catcher, and when he fires out $6,500, he very easily could have a jack or an overpair, having me in very tough shape.
This is getting pretty uncomfortable for nines, but I think it can peel one more time.
But I didn't come this far just to come this far, so I tossed $6,500 more in the middle, and we're looking to fade a bunch of rivers. The river now comes the 10 of diamonds. I'm not sure if I like this card or I hate it, and he finally slows down and checks. Does this mean he's checking with a hand like pocket queens, scared that I might have a hand like ace jack, jack 10, something like that? Or is he checking here because I do in fact have the best hand? I'm not going to turn my pocket nines into a bluff. I check behind, he turns over 7-4 offsuit, and just like that, we're taking in a $24,000 pot, a massive one. I'm glad I stuck around on the turn, and I got rewarded for my stickiness. But then, one of the most interesting hands of my life develops when Mike X puts the $400 straddle on from the cutoff, which means the action starts from seat 1. There's a limp for 400, a few more limps, and the action's over to me with King Queen offsuit from the hijack. I decided to make it $3,500, and let me explain why. Real quickly, over 55% of you guys who watched the last vlog were not subscribed. What are you guys doing? Hit that subscribe button. I have 2 yellow buttons in front of me. If I win my 3rd hand in a row, everyone will pay me $1,000, so they know I'm gonna be doing this with any 2 cards. But I have King Queen offsuit. It's a super premium in the spot, so I need to go massive here to disincentivize anybody else from putting in the call. And if they wanna call me with 2 rags, well, I'm probably gonna be in a good spot here with King Queen offsuit. Unfortunately, we pick up 2 customers, Mike X and Kenji, both put in the call, so 3 ways to the flop here with 11.5K in the middle and a lot at stake. The stack sizes aren't massive compared to the size of the pot already, but the poker gods come through for us on a Queen 9-6 2-club board, and of course I have to go for a patented Cinco de Mayo bet, but this one's large, $5,500.
Cinco de Mayo.
Mike X calls the 5,500 and the action's over to Kenji, who doesn't think about it for more than 2 seconds before snap shoving his entire $26,275 stack in the middle.
Now what does Kenji do? He jams.
God damn it, you should have told me that.
$26,000.
This is a crazy spot. I have top pair with a good kicker on a board that has a ton of draws, but Mike X is behind me and Kenji has just committed his entire stack where he easily could have pocket 6s, pocket 9s, or Queen 9 suited. I'm debating what to do, especially with Mike X behind me, but I told myself before this stream started, if I ever was in a tough spot, I would go with my hand. I want to play aggressive, make some memories, and create some epic content for you guys, and I can't do that by folding, so I put in the call, 26,275 more in the middle with $10,000 behind. Mike X thinks about it for an abnormally large amount of time for a hand that is not very good, 6-5 offsuit. I would have been in great shape against that, but we're playing a $70,000 pot versus Kenji, and we have no idea what cards we need to fade. Magic the Dealer asks us how many times we want to run it, and I say 1 time, and I have no idea what I need to fade. The turn comes the Ace of Hearts. I don't love this card because a lot of his flush draws now made a better top pair, but the river peels off the 3 of diamonds, which should change nothing, and I look over at Kenji. He's first to show, and he turns over Jack 10 offsuit for a busted open-ended straight draw. The realization that I just won myself a $70,000 pot starts to sink in, and then I pick up my bank stickers to put them on Kenji. But then I realize this just isn't the moment to do it. I like to have a lot of fun when I'm at the table, but $70,000 is a massive amount of money, and I really don't want to get beat up in the parking lot by Kenji and his friends later, so I decided to throw them on the table instead. Good for poker. Let's go. $70,000 with 1 pair. Ship it over to me, dealer. Bang! On top of the 70K pot, I also get $1,000 from all 8 other players at the table for winning 3 hands in a row. $8,000 more dollars get added to my stack, and my stack is now $84,000. Just a massive mountain of chips that I can use to battle the other players for the rest of the session.
There's Wolfgang, the biggest winner, followed closely by Mariano. Those guys both up in the neighborhood of 50K. Mike X up as well.
That's exactly what I do here when Redfish opens a hijack to $400, and I decide to call with Ace 4 of spades from the small blind, and the flop comes Ace Queen 7 with 2 clubs. I check it over to Redfish. There's $1,000 in the middle, and he goes for a c-bet now for $200. I call. The turn now comes the Jack of spades, giving me the nut flush to go along with my top pair, and I check it over to Redfish. He now fires out larger for $1,000, and I come along for the call once again. The river doesn't give me a flush. Instead, it's the 5 of hearts, and I check it over to Redfish, who polarizes now. There's $3,400 in the middle, and he goes Cinco de Mayo, $5,500. He's trying to get me to call. I know this. He's using my patented bet sizing against me. I might have to file a lawsuit, but with top pair here, I'm actually in a pretty gross spot.
I appreciate the 55.
Cinco de Mayo.
Clubs miss, some straight draws miss, spades miss, although I do block spades, having 2 of them in my hand. At the end of the day, it just doesn't feel good, and I decide to fold my cards. And look at that, he did 5,500 with my favorite hand, pocket sevens. I might have to put Redfish down as my new favorite player.
He might be my new favorite player.
Oh yeah, wow.
I'm up nearly $50,000 and Redfish limps in with Queen 9 of Hearts. I look down at my hand and it's the best hand in poker, pocket aces. I get it for a second time tonight and I look down at them this time from the cutoff. I make it $550 to go and Redfish puts in the call. We're going heads up in position to a king high flop with $1,300 in the middle. He checks it over to me and I go for a c-bet of $700 and he continues with his middle pair. The turn now comes the deuce of diamonds and with $2,700 in the middle, Redfish checks it over to me for a second time. I overbet to the tune of $3,100, just trying to target any king, any 9x, any club draw, any straight draw, and Redfish comes along again. With $9,000 in the middle, the river comes a card that connects the board a little bit further with the 10 of spades. He checks his action over to me for a third time, and with nearly $9,000 in the middle, I'm debating whether I should check behind or go for value. If he has top pair, of course he's gonna put in the call, but I would hate to go for a bet here and then find myself in a gross spot if an action player like Redfish comes in for a big raise. But at the end of the day, I have the best hand in poker and I'm beating a lot of other hands that I think could find the call, so I play a little joke on Redfish and bet out for $5,500. Remember, he just did that to me in the last hand, but at the end of the day, he just has Queen 9 of Hearts and can't put in the call, so $14,425 is my reward. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us into the last hand of the night, and it's my last opportunity to tell you guys to get my Good for Poker merch. I'm wearing the blue variety now. I did a Randy 3-coin and changed midstream. There's only 1 week left to get it, and then it's gone forever. There's a race to 300 from Kristen Foxen and a call from Redfish and Dylan. If I go large here and Kristen folds, I'm most likely gonna take down all of the dead money. I decided to 3-bet it to $1,550, and sure enough, we get a fold from Kristen and Redfish. But Dylan didn't limp in for $300 just to fold, but when you're wearing super cool poker merch, a bang sticker on your chest, a wolf chain around your neck, and a signed Phil Ivey hat, the poker gods have no choice but to reward you with the nuts. 875 bang! We flop a straight. All right, it's not the nuts, but does Dylan really have 6-9 offsuit or suited here? I would disagree. With $4,000 in the middle, Dylan checks it over to me, and I bet out half pot here for $2,000. All I'm thinking about is Vegas in the Mirage. Hopefully he has a hand like 7-8, pocket sevens, pocket eights, or maybe even an overpair like 9s or 10s. Well, that could be true here when he check raises me to $6,000, and now I'm in an interesting spot. I'm obviously never folding.
What a great spot for Wolfgang.
But can I ever come in for a re-raise and make it something like $14,000? I think it's probably better to just call in position here and see what Dylan decides to do on a lot of turns.
Be shocked to see another raise here, but Wolfgang is just going to call.
Well, we get a pretty gross turn in this $16,000 pot when it pairs the 7 and brings in the front door diamond draw, but now Dylan slows down and checks. I definitely love to see this because it would have been tough to hold on for another large bet on the turn and then possibly a large bet on the river. I check behind and the river card is a brick. It comes the deuce of spades. This is exactly what we wanted to see. After Dylan checks the turn and we get a clean river, I'm gonna call whatever he bets. The only thing is, how large is he gonna go? There's $16,000 in the middle, and he decides to go pretty big here for $12,000. That's around the same price as a 2019 Honda Accord with 60,000 miles, so even though we're having fun mixing it up at a poker table, it's always important to realize what the chips can get you in the real world. Sure, Dylan could have a lot of hands that beat me like a full house or a flush, but at the end of the day, I came out to the Hustler to avenge all of my losses and win a ton of money, and I can't do that by folding. I have a great hand, I have a straight, I put in the additional $12,000, and he turns over 8-6 offsuit, which means we're taking in a $40,000 pot to end the night. What a dream session we had here at the Hustler, and now let's see how we did.
Who signed that? Is that Phil Ivey?
When it's all said and done, we count out our chips. 94,400 are sitting in front of us. I only put down 30,000 to start, which means our biggest ever cash game win, $64,400 is our reward, totally wiping out the last 4 cumulative losses here at the Hustler of around $50,000 in just one session. And when you combine this $64,000 win with my $67,000 win in the last vlog in Las Vegas, also combined with a $682,000 win in my Triton Jeju series, that's nearly $813,000 in the last 3 videos. Those 2 other massive wins are on your screen right now. Click one of those to continue watching. Good luck on the felt, you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.